who was delayed from Worcester. Dave McGinney is a member of the Peabody School Committee that will talk about battling this on the front lines as a real-life school committee member. Dave.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Real close.
This is a great turnout. Thank you all for coming. And as Dean mentioned, I'm a Peabody School Committee member. I'm also the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Mass Association of School Committee Members. In my real job, I'm the general manager and vice president of a technology company right in the greater Boston area. And as Arnie Duncan likes to refer to me, I'm a white suburban mom. Some of you know what that means. Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education, said that the only people who are really against Common Core are white suburban moms who are realizing that their kids aren't quite as bright as they thought they were. Yes, he said that. He said that out loud. And I love this. You mentioned Peg Luxus, who does a lot of touring around in these anti-Common Core venues. She had another great quote. She said, you know, we're going to win this thing in Common Core because dads will die for their children, won't they? Right, dads? But moms will kill. That is so true. I had a teacher who was a real fan of Common Core come up to me and say, you know, Dave, I've read these Common Core standards and I honestly think they're fine. Can you please tell me what it is about the standards that you don't like? And I said, you know, that's the wrong question. The correct question is, what was so wrong with the Massachusetts current standards that it was worth spending $250 million of taxpayers' money to flush it down the toilet? We're number one in the country. We're number one on many tests in science, in particular internationally. What is so wrong with our standards? Mitchell Chester's conflict of interest comes up a lot, and I love your analogy. That's great. The analogy that I like to use is, it's almost like putting Mitchell Chester being in charge of deciding whether MCAS or PARC is, which one is better, is almost like putting Ray Rice in charge of a domestic violence investigation, right? True, you can laugh, it's all right. It's a little irreverent, but so is Mitchell Chester being the chairman of PARC. PARC is, it's almost like, he keeps talking about this being a 2-year test drive, right? 2-year test. Well, if this is a 2-year test drive, Mitchell Chester should be arrested for carjacking. Right? This is crazy. This would never happen in real life, in the private sector. You wouldn't have a drug company just immediately say, we have something that we're pretty sure is better than every other treatment for cancer out there. So everybody stop their current treatment and try this. That's in essence what they're doing with Common Core, right? If this was a meeting pro-Common Core, it would last about 5 minutes. It would go something like this. Hi, I'm in favor of Common Core. It'll better prepare kids for college and career, and it's more rigorous than your current standards. The bar is open, have a nice night. That's it. Now, unfortunately, none of that, there is no empirical data anywhere that supports that in truth. I'm going to speak now directly to other school committee members. The two reasons I keep hearing more than any others of why some school committees have chosen PARC over MCAS this year. One is that it's inevitable. It's not. As a matter of fact, there were 25 original states that signed on to PARC. They're down to 14. This year, less than 25% of the students in the United States will take the PARC exam, PARC test. More students will be taking the Smarter Balance test than the PARC test. Is it better? Is it cheaper? We don't know. More than half of all the students in the country will take neither the PARC nor Smarter Balance. They'll either take a test of their own or they'll take no test associated with Common Core at all. So PARC is hardly inevitable. In fact, it's imploding. And the other reason I hear school committee members voting for PARC is the superintendent recommended it, and we should support the superintendent. Folks, I've been on the school committee for 19 years. This is how it really works. The average superintendent stays in Massachusetts less than 3 years. That's the average. It's been that way a long time. The first year is the honeymoon. The second year, they're actually being held accountable for something. The third year, the resume is on the street. That's just how it is. And these superintendents know if they're going to get another job, they better be seen as progressive. They better not make waves with the DESE. That's just how it is. Bill Belichick has a great line. He really simplifies what makes players great. Just says one thing: do your job. Do your job. School committee members, your job is not to support the superintendent. Your job is to support the children of the districts you represent. Do your job.
Thank you.